Stop it! Hey! Hey! Don't touch me!
Hey, everybody calm down. Hey,
I moved! I moved!
Be peaceful.
What the fuck? Don't fight it!
Shame on you. Move away from the Keep going. Keep it away from the kids. Okay. The kids have nothing to do with you. You have your rights. You have your rights.
I've made up my mind. Don't need to think it over if I'm don't need to look no further. This ain't
Thank you. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you all. What a day in San Francisco. What a day in California. What a day for America. What a day for equality. This is an extraordinary day. And at the end of the day, make no mistake, this day is about real people and their lives. This day is about people being able to live their lives out loud. This day is about people coming together in families all across the state of California and allowing themselves to be fully expressive. It's about human dignity. It's about civil rights. It's about time in California. And by the way, as California goes, so goes the rest of the nation. It's inevitable. This door's wide open now. It's gonna happen, whether you like it or not. This is the future, and it's now. This is a great day for California and a great day for America. This is a great day for the Constitution. Thank you all very much.
For the 14 couples who decided that they were willing to put their names on the lawsuit to try to change this law. Tonight we have with us one of those couples, Los Angelinos Robin Tyler and Diane Olsen.
That the lawsuit for equal marriage rights would start in Beverly Hills, California. We want to thank the center. We want to thank all of the legal organizations that were involved. Lambda, the legal organization that I love, the ACLU, NCLR, the brilliant attorney that argued for the city of San Francisco and the city of San Francisco. We want to thank our fellow Los Angeles activists because you've been with us on the streets fighting for marriage equality. And we're going to get married. We're getting married. I'm going to be a June bride. We don't call it same-sex marriage because after marriage, sex is never the same. And I know that I'm a little too experienced to wear white, all right?
Not only had we won marriage rights in California, but that they had declared us a suspect class, which means that we were entitled, if anybody discriminated against us as lesbian and gays, it was entitled to strict scrutiny in the court, which means you didn't have to go in as individuals, and so you could go in as a class. just like any other minority. And none of the attorneys had asked for us to be declared a suspect class. None of our attorneys, you know, any of them, the gay attorneys, Gloria, nobody. And they had given that to us anyway. So for the first time in American history, we were considered equal in the state of California. And so that was what was so stunning about that Supreme Court decision, and so brave. And it was just historic because of that. Very different than the Massachusetts ruling, which was very narrow in its scope. This just swept away all forms of discrimination and just said they're entitled to marriage because they're entitled to all, to be totally legal and equal in the state of California. And so we were recognized as a separate minority.
They're going to get married today. It's going to be a summer of love. Marriages are going to be breaking out all over California. People are going to be coming here from other states, and we're just so happy that we have won this victory.
The personifications of joy and celebration. And Brad Altman and I are going to join you, and we are going to get our marriage license today. Isn't that extraordinary, and isn't that wonderful? So congratulations to all of us, and may equality live long and prosper.
Did it matter that you're the first?
It was important for us to be on the first day, but we're just lucky that we're the very first.
Congratulations. Thank you. It's the buen besar. Okay. I can't believe this day is here. How's it feel?
Very excited.
My baby, I got my baby. We're getting married. You know, what can I say? Are you guys happy your moms are going to be able to get married now?
Yes.
How long have you been waiting for that?
I'm not sure.
Too long.
At least 9 years, right? As long as he's been alive.
You know you're in line with the will of the universe when Mother Nature is resplendent on your day. I'm just saying.
And are you marrying today?
We are officiating at whomsoever wishes to be married by the ancient archetype of the cross-gendered shaman.
Hello. I'm with her.
Thanks. Congratulations.
I think I saw.
George, this way. There you go.
Right in front, George.
Takes me merrily to be my lawfully wedded spouse.
Take me merrily to be my lawfully wedded spouse.
By the virtue of the authority vested in me as a Deputy Commissioner of Civil Marriages, I now pronounce you married under the laws of the state of California.
Well, we went for 8 years to the Beverly Hills Courthouse and got turned away before we finally went last year, and they married us. There's always, every time we went to get married, it was like 5 cameras. There's always some press. But we had no idea that NBC would stop their newscast and just broadcast our whole wedding locally without interruption. You know what? I mean, they've only done that for car chases, not for gay people.
And then it became fun.
Beautiful! So beautiful, you look, what a happy moment. How exciting. This is herstory and history combined. Yes, indeed. And this is the wonderful couple that made it happen.
We went into the courthouse and they only allowed Gloria Allred and Diane and I, and they locked us in because they had opened the Beverly Hills Courthouse just for us, because they closed at 4. So at 4 we were allowed in, they lock us in, and they had the SWAT squad inside with us. And Gloria's next to us, never leaving go of me. You were there. It looked like I was marrying Gloria Allred. So my brother was supposed to be my best man. Gloria was right next to me hanging on, right? And the crowd is cheering and cheering and cheering, and I step on, she's my friend, I stepped on her foot, I pushed her. She can take a lot of pain. She did not move away from me, would not move away and let my brother in. So finally my brother came behind me and held me up, and Diane grabbed me, and I started to sob, and I cried the whole time. And I was crying because I've worked on this since 1974. And just this year, a couple of friends of mine, Wanda and Brenda, they were married in Massachusetts. They'd been together for 22 years, and 24 years, and married in Massachusetts. And Brenda was dying, and they were in Arkansas. And when Wanda took her into the hospital, she had cancer. The doctor said, "You're not allowed in the room." And she said, "But here's the death certificate, here's the marriage certificate." The doctor said, "I don't have to recognize this, I'm in Arkansas." So Wanda had to sit outside all night. Well, she thought Brenda was dying in the hospital, and she's on the phone calling her friends, sobbing, telling all of us. A bunch of people rushed there and in the morning they came out, and the nurse said, "Wanda's asking for you because, Brenda is asking for you." Wanda had thought Brenda had died that night. Nobody had told her that she hadn't died. So all these people rushed in to get Brenda out of the hospital, and Brenda ended up dying in Wanda's arms in their house. But this isn't, and so when I was standing there finally marrying Diane and realizing how many of our people have suffered because we haven't had our relationships recognized, for this doctor not to allow these two lesbians to be together, that have been together for 25 years, and all they wanted to do, all Brenda wanted to do and Wanda is for Brenda to die in her arms, and they wouldn't allow it. So it was this situation. It was all the guys with AIDS, that had AIDS, whose families came in and wiped them out because they had no legal status. And so by the time I got to our wedding, it wasn't just about us. I was remembering all the suffering that we have done, that we have had because we weren't allowed to marry. It's a very important issue.
It's my privilege and honor to say Hakol Sharir Kayam. All of this ketubah is now valid and binding.
We've got a big battle ahead in November with a ballot initiative that can make the Supreme Court decision moot. And it's remarkable, you had a Supreme Court decision with the majority opinion written by a former appointee of Ronald Reagan that made it crystal clear there's nothing in the Constitution of the state of California that allows us to discriminate against people. And it's not just on the basis of their race or ethnicity, it's also on their basis of sexual orientation.
If Proposition 8 passes, won't it take existing rights away from gay couples?
The answer is no. Proposition 8 is about preserving the legal definition of marriage as between a man and a woman. Though some opponents of Proposition 8 would have us believe that it's an intolerant attack on their lifestyle directly, it's not. All the rights that gay and lesbians enjoy in civil unions are still in full force.
Under California law, quote, domestic partners shall have the same rights, protection, and benefits as married spouses, end quote. There's no exception. No rights will be taken away from same-sex partners if Proposition 8 passes.
Join us. Join us.
Join all of us. Be wise. Be informed. Vote yes on Proposition 8.
Well, first of all, people need to understand that partnership, civil union, all the other alternative legal lesser mechanisms that we have won as we have fought for the freedom to marry are not equal to marriage. They do not provide the same protection. They do not provide the same respect. They do not provide the same security. They are not the same. We don't want to go back. Here in California, we won full equality for couples, full protection, full respect, the same rules, the same responsibilities. We can't allow the opponents of equality, the anti-gay forces, to take rights away. We have to get people to understand that they are not the same. It is not good enough to treat people unfairly and unequally. We need people to vote no.
Kathy Justin. I work on Desperate Housewives, and I support No on 8 because the government has no right to tell you who you can mate with.
All right. A lot of, it seems as though a lot of the younger generation is a lot more comfortable.
Of course they are.
Talk to us a little bit on how you may talk to your peers who may have doubts.
I don't talk to none of my peers have doubts.
Okay.
I don't know any, I know one Republican, and we've agreed not to talk about anything political. I hang around with actors. Give me a break. I mean, come on. They all think, it's fine.
Well, I've worked in this field forever, it seems to me. I think because I truly, honestly believe in loving each other. And the way that is done is not up to anybody to say.
I have a lot of friends that have gotten married, and a lot of them have rushed to get married just because if this passes, what's going to happen to them now? They're still going to be married.
We couldn't have been happier about the Supreme Court ruling, and we knew that right when it happened that the battle would start and that people would try to go ahead and overturn that and take that right away. So we're in this for the long run. We are committed to watching this turn into a situation that is permanent, where all Californians and eventually all LGBT people in the country have the right to marry and have the right to have it called the same thing as it is called for every other couple who is engaged in a loving, committed relationship.
Well, good evening. My name is Karmeet Bahar, formerly of the Pussycat Dolls, and I'm here tonight because it is so important that we get the message out there for people to vote no on Prop 8. Everybody is entitled to live their lives the way they choose to, and equality is very important for our future and for what's going on right now in politics.
Matthew and I actually had a conversation about gay marriage before he was killed, when Hawaii was debating the gay marriage issue in the early 90s. And he asked me, do you think we'll ever be able to marry in my lifetime? And I said, in your lifetime, but not mine. And ironically, it turned out to be just the opposite. So I know he's clapping his hands right now.
It's going to be very close, but we're very confident we're going to prevail. Brad's right over there talking to somebody else. We feel great. We just got back from our honeymoon in South America.
Constitutional amendment on the ballot, and we see one thing in common, and that is Barack Obama, because he was very organized in Florida, and there was a large African-American vote there, and we anticipated that that would help us in California because African-Americans have always been very strongly supporting traditional marriage.
The Yes on 8 campaign zeroed in on the issue of education in a series of ads arguing that children would be exposed to a pro-gay curriculum if the measure failed.
I couldn't be prouder of this generation. Has taken that torch of optimism and hope and said no to hate, no to discrimination, no to the idea that we should judge anyone based on their color, their creed, their sexual orientation. Because I believe in you, because I know that you will not accept the proposition that anyone can deny us a basic right, a basic freedom. I don't care what happens tonight. We will not be deterred.
So here we are, the morning after, reflecting on a moment of extraordinary bliss in history. On the one hand, and on the other hand, a state that's always been on the leading and cutting edge, moving back. And as a consequence, tens of thousands of people's lives have been dramatically impacted, quite directly. Their lives completely uprooted because they did nothing except this, fall in love and say, I do. Nothing more extraordinary than that. The majority of Californians said, your rights don't matter to us. They took those rights away. So they're out of luck today. And that's pretty devastating and pretty remarkable that in 2008, California did something no other state in U.S. history has ever done, and it's changed its constitution to take people's rights away. Just think, I mean, for a moment, think about, it's almost a parallel universe. You elect an African American for president, and then you change the Constitution to take rights away in California. You know, history of the entire civil rights movement, you could just map this. It's no different. It's exactly the same. Look at the Voting Rights Act. Look at the whole history of rights movement going back, you don't have to go back in your textbooks to 1927. Again, go back just 40 years ago. It's in good days, bad days, and you can get a sense of how people sort of dust off, and they don't give up, they don't despair, and they fight. But nonetheless, we fell short last night.
And so we cried when we lost a little bit, and then we ran right over to Gloria's office and filed the lawsuit, and filed the petition to the California Supreme Court asking them to overturn Prop 8. And we hope we win it, and if we do, we'll be out on the streets celebrating, and if we don't, there'll be 1 million of us out on the streets protesting.
Now! Equal rights 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 now!
have one, I mean, in this country, we are so behind every other country, every other first world country, because we have nothing on a federal level, and it's 2008. And so the marriage issue, what's so great about the marriage issue, it propelled everything forward. Instead of saying, oh, it's about sexual orientation, we were talking about the right to love, the right to form families, the right to have our own families, to keep our job, to choose whether or not to raise children, to choose whether or not we wanted to get married. So instead of seeing us as sexual individuals, now they could see us as couples and family and loving. And so it's much more, it's not about marriage. It's about showing them that we're full human beings. We're not fighting for the right for sex, because I've always said we don't mind what you're doing in the privacy of your own bedroom. This is not about our lifestyles. This is about our lives.
I guess expecting maybe between 250,000 people nationwide, and 9 countries are joining in on this protest. So it's pretty exciting.
I'll be the one to hope, and I know more than I knew before. I know more than I knew before. I didn't rest, I didn't stop. What else is America without equality? I love you more. I don't know what I knew before, but now I know I wanna win the war. No one likes to take a test. Sometimes we don't hold your flex. Put your weight against the door. Kick drum on the basement floor. I'm stranded in the fog of words. Looking like a winter bird. On my head the water pours. Come straight through the open door. Fly away what you wanna make. Oh, I feel it all. I feel it all.
Event. It's wonderful knowing that it's in 300 cities, in 50 states, including Puerto Rico. We are going to have our voices heard this time. Everybody's going to know. It's the most incredible civil rights movement and manifestation it's going to be.
Hi, how are you? I gotta make sure I'm looking into the right lens. Hello.
Hey, what does this event mean today?
It means a different future for the state of California. We're all here because we believe in a future of California that is about equality and justice for all people, not just some.
Do you think this is going to be felt around the world?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, this isn't the end. Proposition 8 wasn't the end, it's only the beginning.
We need you to share your story with everyone in your community. All your friends, all your family. Make this the most interesting Thanksgiving your family ever had. I got married this year. I got my license. My marriage license is one of 18,000 that are being called into question. question. But one thing is not going to be called into the question. That is the love that my husband, my partner, and I of 7 years have for each other. On the day that we got married, my husband's Church of Christ parents were there. My own Filipino Catholic family was there. And on that day we realized that there is only one kind of love. There is only one kind of love. On that day, all of our families realized that we all want the same things. The only difference is we're gay, so we want nicer things.
Just out here because hate is hate, and it's just great to see all the love, and this is true family values right here. And we're here in LA to, I don't know, just conquer the hate. So.
Hey! Oh, oh! Prop 8 has got to go! Hey, hey! Oh, oh!
Prop 8 has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Prop 8 has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho!
And I think we need to go to Washington, march in Washington once again, even though marches don't mean the politicians listen to you. But what it does is it motivates and activates youth. But I think we have to stop depending on organizations to do it for us. I think we have to get much more militant than we've ever been. And I think we should not piecemeal our rights. Well, give us the right to marry, but don't worry about the right to work. Give us the right to work, but don't worry about the right to serve in the military.
Thought this was a very simple message, kind of a no-brainer. Yeah, if we're identical twins and one of us is gay and one's straight, we deserve equal rights, right? I mean, we're genetically identical and we were raised by the same parents, and one's gay and one's straight. Why should one's rights be taken away from one and the other one not? It's a very simple message.
It's on the way.
Sexualizing us and realize that we're all human beings. There's a lot of us. If anything, this has activated a lot of kids to get in the street. A lot of people, adults who are not out to get in the street. There has been a self-esteem that has happened, and it's why we go so public. Robin is used to being public. I'm actually pretty shy. But if this stops one kid from, opening a vein because they can't come out to their family and committing suicide, I will do it.
But here's the point. We're at a point in history where the gay community in the United States has finally woken up and said, wait, we don't have anything. It's not enough to have gay pride parades and leather and feather and walk down the street and talk about how proud you are. Pride is based on self-esteem. You cannot have any self-esteem unless you have civil rights. Right. And so we did not know what it would take to get people finally angry enough, our own people angry enough. I think one of the problems in our community is we have huge organizations who raise millions of dollars and who have done nothing for us. They have done nothing. We have all of these fancy dinners and $300 dinners, and they have done absolutely nothing for us. This is a civil rights movement, and I don't think we should ever have to justify again why we want to get married, why we should have the right to serve in the military, why we want to hold jobs, why we shouldn't be killed just because we're gay and lesbian or just because we're arm in arm. I don't think we need to justify it anymore. Here's our answer. We want our civil rights. We want Washington to stop playing around with us and to stop telling us before they're elected, the Democrats, we're going to give you everything, and then they give us nothing. One stroke of the executive pen and Barack Obama could give it to us, and I expect nothing less.
And Barack Obama, I voted for you, and you said your Christian religion would not allow you to support same-sex marriage. Well, I did not support for you to be my Christian president. I voted for you to be my president.
If we can make this proposition go away, that maybe the Obamas and the Bidens would be braver and speak out about it and be fully for it, fully for gay marriage without any kind of buffers, without any kind of filter, It's unfortunate that the people that we are putting so much faith in still have to filter. I don't have to filter, I ain't running.
But I love to see events like this, and I think that we should just get really active on just kind of really focusing on gay marriage, trying to make it happen. I think we should make all the wedding planners go on strike. If I can't get married, you can't get married. Go ahead, try to do your own makeup. Floral arrangement now.
How long have you been married? I've been married 28 years. So what does marriage mean to you? Oh,
Well, I don't know. It's sort of a heavy answer, but you find someone you're happy with and compatible with, and that's what it is. You know, there's so much unhappiness in the world that if you find someone you're happy with, well, God bless you. You know, good time. You know, so I don't pass any judgments that way.
So now that with gay marriage passing in California.
Well, the nice thing about gay marriage is you have two people excited about the wedding. You know, in straight marriages, you just have one person. With gay marriage, oh my gosh, both people are excited.
Such a pleasure. That's good. Christian family groups, these Christian groups, they're out of control. They really have lost their minds. Lost their minds. Even Satanists are saying, wow, you guys are being really mean. But they're always like doing some kind of bullshit. These fucking Christian groups. They're always like going off on somebody or something, you know? They're just like, no, SpongeBob is gay! No, SpongeBob is a sponge. Clearly a transsexual.
It's just, like I was saying before, it's baffling that we're even talking about this, isn't it, somehow? It's, particularly after, well, I mean, after Will and Grace particularly. I mean, there's a lot of people in a lot of areas of America that perhaps, maybe they don't know a lot of gay people, or maybe the gay people they know haven't come out, or whatever, but after 8 years of that series, which was very popular in some of those areas, this isn't such a mystery anymore. You'd think it would be demystified, they'd be less scared, and more open to letting other human beings have the same rights they do.
People have to remember that hate breeds hate. And it's better to take the high road and have an inclusive society. If we want to be a strong society, we got to include everybody. We're going to be a weak society, we'll be splintered, and we won't stand together. And that's not American, you see. We were sold a bill of goods that's different from what we were taught in the first place and what's in our Constitution. So we got to relook at that, because Americans really are fair. And I didn't even realize all the laws until I started working with the HRC, and I realized that, you know, in 33 states, maybe it's 32 now, you can be fired from your job if you're gay, lesbian, or transgender, or bisexual. That doesn't seem right, because that has nothing to do with your job. And health benefits, and over 10,000 benefits that are afforded heterosexual couples are not afforded gay, lesbian, transsexual, or bisexual people. Well, couples and people with families. And so I think that's got to change. You know, funny thing, I lived through the civil rights movement in the 60s when white people stood up and said, no, we can't treat black people like this. This is wrong. And I agreed. I thought, you know, everybody was crazy for acting the way they acted. But the law did change because we stood together. And when in the women's movement, I saw men stand up for women and say, you know what? This isn't right. So now it's time for all us family members and all us straight people to stand up and say, it's not right. Inequality is not right. If you make a law for everyone, it's got to include everyone, not some people. Because the funny thing is you never know when it's going to happen to you, that you're going to be the people who are excluded. And you know, once they exclude one group of people, they just keep starting to exclude a lot of people. And that doesn't work, not in this country.
If you love someone, you should be able to marry whoever you want. And nobody can stop you from doing that.
You must have a lot of gay friends.
Tons. I have more gay friends than straight friends, that's for sure.
Oh, really?
Yes.
How cool is that?
Everyone's gay in LA, they just don't admit it.
Having fought for women's lib and the right for women to choose, certainly I was in high school and college in the 60s. You know, we were always marching and protesting and sitting and standing and whatever we could for human rights. And this is just a basic human right. You should be able to marry whoever you want to marry.
And we wonder, well, why do Republicans hate gay marriage? Because they certainly don't hate gay prostitutes. It's not that Republicans Republicans hate gay marriage is that Republicans know that there's a huge group of people who do hate gays and can be persuaded to vote Republican if they pander to their homophobia and their hatred. So that's what's happening, is they're getting really friendly with these Christians, these Bible-thumping, cousin-humping, monster truck enthusiasts. And they get them all riled up, and they send them into a mullet fantasia. About how gays are going to get married and move into their neighborhoods, as if we would ever live in a trailer park.
I'm very gay friendly.
Yay! What do you have on the schedule on the plate for you? Any tours?
All kinds of stuff. New movie, new album, new husband.
Oh, bring your husband in here.
Which is one of the big reasons why I'm here tonight.
Oh,
if
really?
I have the right to get married, why shouldn't everybody else?
There you go.
Well, I think that we're realizing, you know, especially with the defeat of the passing of Prop 8, that it's time, you know, just like I went to see the movie Milk on Thanksgiving Day. I showed up the next day, and the next day I couldn't stay away. And I remember that feeling, you know, the 70s, where we wanted to get out in the streets. I mean, we have learned that the big change comes from within. You know, you can scream in the streets all you want, but, you know, it has to come from within. But still, it doesn't hurt to let people know, hey, look, we're here, we're queer. You've got to get used to it. You know, it ain't going away. It's not like something you're going to sweep under the rug. So I think that's it. We're not so silent anymore, and I love that.
And I know that if he were here today, you know, he would want us to continue fighting. I think he'd be very proud of the progress we've made. But if he were here, he'd be out in the streets now with his bullhorn, encouraging people to fight back and march and protest and sit in and get arrested and go to jail until we are equal.
No, what I hear from my friends out here who happen to be gay is that they kind of didn't see it coming. They kind of thought that it would be that with Obama probably going to win, that Prop 8 wouldn't pass. The whole thing sounds pretty nefarious to me, actually, and I think it's absolutely unconstitutional, will be thrown out. But it is, I guess, a reminder to all of this that these roots of bigotry and ignorance and hatred, which helped, you know, bring Bobby down, still exist very much in our society, and it's, you know, it's a civil rights issue. It's very upsetting.
Yeah, it's a speed bump on the road. I mean, it was Martin Luther King was 68, Barack Obama's 2008. It took 40 years for that to happen, and we're in the middle of a struggle. And we've never won an anti-gay marriage initiative. It's not like this is the first one we've lost. So we became very, very close this time, and this time it's framed in the Constitution. And I have a feeling that we'll go back to court with it and prevail. So, I mean, I don't have any particular joke about it, except that I was ready to get married, and so I could go through a gay divorce, because it's the one thing I haven't done. So.
Oh, well, I think it's a terrible thing that it passed. I'm really heartened by all of the protests and the lists of all the businesses that came out that supported it. People are going to boycott. And, you know, I think the courts exist so that the minority doesn't get swallowed up by the majority. And maybe we'll get to go back to court on this one. And maybe the court will rule that it should not pass. But, you know, the fight goes on.
Well, you know, Whoopi Goldberg took part in the New York demonstration this week. And then she also came out and said, well, you know, what people need to do is to get to know a gay person on a one-to-one.
Right.
So how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think that once you meet us and see we're just like you, and we have the same aspirations and the same hopes and dreams, it's kind of hard to vote to take something away from us or deprive us of something once you really know somebody and maybe even love them.
We want marriage. That's the front of the bus. The Democratic Party wants to give us civil unions. That's the back of the bus. The Republican Party wants us off the bus, and the radical religious right, including but not limited to the Mormon, Catholic, and Baptist churches, have just thrown us under the bus.
It's about life and death in a lot of situations. It's about no medical, no rights, no recognition, no immigration. So until our community took itself seriously, we, as a civil rights movement, they're not going to move up. And power, too. Power is never given. It has to be taken. No one's going to politely give you anything. There has been no civil rights movement that has ever been won without tremendous activism and tremendous anger. And if anybody has the right to be active and angry, we do.
You've introduced quite clear. You've let us know. This is a societal issue. But it's not affecting you, is it? Is it affecting you? Is it affecting you? One value. Is this issue affecting you? One value. No, it's you attacking us.
No more hate! No more hate! No more hate! No more hate!
Tax the Mormon Church! Tax the Mormon Church! Tax the Mormon Church!
We will not stand by as you threaten democracy today. Because, like it or not, we are here. We are queer. And y'all better get used to it. Because we aren't going anywhere.
Tax the Mormon Church! Tax the Mormon Church! Yes, we can! Yes, we can! Yes, we can!
If it is true, if they are allowed to fund a political campaign, then they have to be removed from a tax-exempt status.
Man, you got it going on. What breaks the weak just makes you strong. You got game, baby, bring it on, bring it on.
That all of the gay and lesbian and transgendered and bisexual people would be glad to accept your first tax payment. We'll take your taxes. Start paying your taxes.
Stamp your feet. Our country too! 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 Our country too!
now on the brink of being able to get all of our rights. And so if you get involved in this movement, there is a passion and a camaraderie and an experience like nothing else will ever give you. It's just, it's hard to explain. And we don't do it out of anger, because the people that have remained in the movement, that have done it out of anger, have burnt out. You don't do it if you're angry all the time. There is a sense of love. You have to come from loving your community and loving justice and loving equal rights and loving civil rights, and that will sustain you and it will fill you up.
Equal rights, equal rights, equal rights, equal rights, equal rights, equal rights.
Traffic is open eastbound. You are free to leave. At this point, we're not going to let you continue westbound from this location. I appreciate your cooperation, but we've got the public safety of the people in this area I'm concerned with. Also, the safety of the folks marching the other end of your group. So I appreciate your cooperation. If you'd like to leave eastbound, you can do so at this time. Thank you. What we're trying to do is facilitate you guys continuing westbound march. Listen up and hear me. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to try and facilitate you marching westbound. But if I do that, listen up to me. If I do that, I need your cooperation to make that happen safely. All right, so if you will cooperate with me, give me some time.
friends. Tell them to meet us. What do we want? When do we want them? What do we want? Equal rights. When do we want them? Now.
Pride is based on self-esteem. You cannot have any self-esteem unless you have civil rights.
It's inevitable. This door's wide open now.
This is a civil rights movement, and I don't think we should ever have to justify again why we want to get married, why we should have the right to serve in the military, why we want to hold jobs, why we shouldn't be killed just because we're gay and lesbian, or just because we're arm in arm.
It's gonna happen, whether you like it or not.
We are now at the brink of being able to get all of our rights, and I expect nothing less.
This is the future, and it's now.
Should I give up, or should I just keep chasing pavements? Even if it leads nowhere. Should I leave it there? Should I give up, or should I just keep chasing pavements? Even if it leads nowhere.